Italy is a region that has seen the rise of a faith that has spread across the entire world. Today, we visit the church at which its members come to worship. Today, we race at the Temple of Speed. Monza's religious nickname might be meant more in jest, but with two very fast and very different classes out on track, there's a good chance we could hear a few drivers saying some prayers. We'll see who the racing gods smile upon as we get ready to watch round 6 of the iRacing Kamel GT series, and you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is Sean Ambrose. Behind the scenes is our director, the Dr. Amjad Yaman, and he's using cameras provided by Ducky Beard. Sean, putting aside my sacrilegious humor for a moment, why don't you tell us more about Monza?
I certainly will, Joe. 3.6 miles, that's 5.7 kilometers around here, 11 turns over these 40 minutes today here for the Kamel GT series. Joe, officially called Autodromo Nazionale Monza. The track is located in the city of Monza, just north of Milan, Italy. It's been here since 1922. Yes, folks, that was a long time ago, almost 100 years we're approaching now. It was the world's third purpose-built racetrack after Brooklands in Surrey, England, and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The track's proximity to the Ferrari headquarters in Maranello makes Monza the unchallenged home of the Italian Grand Prix, being held here every year except for one. And the track's undergone a lot of layout changes over the years, and including the 1954 construction of the high-banked oval, which they don't use a whole lot anymore, but there are rumors of reconfigurations going on now with the track, but can't find any real proof of it, so we'll just leave it as it is. And what we're going to do is we're going to hop on board real quick here for a GSRC lap guide for a trip around Monza and the 3 chicanes that we'll be facing today.
All right, we're in the GSRC Audi, so let's do a lap around Monza. Flying down the front stretch, expect drafting to really come into play along here. Drivers will be jockeying for position on this long run up to the Retifiglio chicane. Unfortunately, it's incredibly easy to outbrake yourself into here, so expect a number of cars to take to the escape road throughout the race. As soon as you can safely put your foot down, apply the power and let the car drift all the way to the left on the approach to Curva Grande. The Audi can make it through flat out, but you'll need most, if not all, of the road to get around here. Quickly, bring it back across to the right and then spot your brake marker for Della Roggia. You can take a lot of the first curve, but that second one likes to tip the car up on 2 wheels, so you'll want to avoid hitting it too hard. You'll just wind up losing lots of time as you wait to get to the throttle. Then comes the first Lesmo. Avoid turning in too early, which this corner tends to tempt you to do. You can use up quite a bit of the AstroTurf on the exit and still be considered inbound, so keep that in mind. And then, before you know it, you're braking for the second Lesmo. This corner is much sharper, but has a far more critical corner exit than the first one. It's a long, long acceleration zone you're faced with, and if you fail to find the throttle quickly, it'll leave you a sitting duck as other drivers power past. Once we go under the old oval, you're now approaching Ascari. This chicane is very different from the others, with 3 distinct apexes. Keep the car tucked in tight to the second one, and that should really open up the last left-hander. The reason you're doing that is because, once again, you've got an incredibly long straight up ahead. Being able to carry your speed will pay dividends for either attack or defense on the run up to Parabolica. But honestly, even if you can make the pass into this corner, it might be better to wait. Now, this turn is a hairpin, but it's a relatively open hairpin and can be taken faster than you'd expect. The radius also opens up on the second half, and as you feed onto the throttle, you now find yourself back onto the pit straight. Passes will be so much easier if you line yourself up with a good exit out of Parabolica rather than trying to outbrake someone into it. But hopefully, you've now finished a lap around Monza.
Should give you a good sense of the kind of speed that this Audi can get, not to mention the Nissan, which more gains its speed in the corners. Now, qualifying has just started in this series, so let's take some time to let those laps come in and take a look at the points championship, starting with the prototypes. Of course, Jamie Hall leading the way. Now, they have added the drop week. The first of the 2 drop weeks have been used in the points here that you see on screen, which means that Rob Olenek is now only 6 behind Hall, and Ardo Iamaki 16 back. And then things stay the same as they were between Clayton McLeod and Keith Ritchie down there. Of course, they have the amateur championship that they're running in these prototypes as well, the GTP Lights. Luis Emerton coming off a great result last week sits at the top over John Keefe, who is only 9 back, so very much in the hunt. From there, it's a bit of more of a drop-off. Martin Krejcik back in third, Kopak fourth, and Pearson fifth. All stay where they were before. Then, of course, there is the GT cars, the Audi. Sean, what are we looking at there?
Joe, the Audi Championship is up for grabs right now because Ben Lafter sits atop there with 70 points. Michael Houghton, 5 points behind. Look at this. We got a log jam here at third and fifth right on top of him. Malia, Trengrade, they're tied. And now Willy Raola up into the picture here, or falling out of it down from the last round. He sits there in fifth. But Joe, like I said, that is quite a battle. We're pretty close there in points. Now let's look at the GTU standings. Sorry for the delay there. Riley Thompson sits atop with 61 points. Brian Shanahan. It's a little bit of a swap there at the top, but they are fighting. The Americans on top there, 61 points, 8 points just behind Shanahan. Franco Scurry in a battle with Reed Miller, and those two only separated by 4 points now. And Hideki Koivitso in that battle also, fifth in the GTU standings. The Finn looks for a good result today.
I'm sure that he does. Might be a little hard to find it with a big field out there. Now, if anybody has not watched the iRacing Kamel GT series before, here's what you're in for. We are halfway through the season at round 6. Now, the drivers do have 2 drop weeks in their championships, in their respective championships. And it is a sprint race today at only 40 minutes, which means you should not expect any stop for fuel. Now, and the Nissans, it can be a little tight, but we do believe they should be able to make it. If you get damaged, that could change, though, as if you eat up more fuel on the straights, you could find yourself a little shy. And there you see the scoring system that they use in this series down below. There is no incident limit, however, in the iRacing Kamel GT series, so drivers can rack up as many off-tracks as they want. Doesn't mean that the SR is off limits, though, as that is going to hurt your safety rating here on iRacing. Now, times are starting to tumble in right now at the top of the prototypes. Rob Olenek leading the way, while Michael Houghton has the fastest time in the GTO class for the moment. Make that Willy Raola just now.
Yeah, Raola gets a real good lap in there, Joe. That's a 145 flat. Nobody even, or I'm sorry, I missed that. Trengrade now goes to the top with a 146 flat. Everybody flipping all over the board here as they get their first laps in, Joe.
And things might change soon at the top of the prototypes as well, because Antti Lepisto hasn't put his lap in yet. He's currently coming out of the second Lesmo, heading down to the final chicane of Ascari, one of the fastest of the 3. Let's see what it looks like on board the Nissan after we watched that lap guide on the Audi. How aggressive with the curbs can he be here, Sean?
Not very aggressive, Joe. You've got to be careful. This car does not like those curbs. Doesn't like those sausage bombs or whatever you want to call them. They're on top of the curbs. You have to be very, very careful here today in the chicanes. Nissan or Audi, the chicanes sit so high, and those traps, those big bumps there, will really, really set the car off and possibly cause damage. The Nissan doesn't like under tray damage either. Can seriously affect the aero on the car. And so far, so good for Lepisto, as it looks like he's managed to get around without doing that to the car.
Got himself into 6th, which is now 7th, actually. And interestingly, you may have noticed at the top of your screen, Yamaki took the fastest lap over Olenek. Even faster than Olenek as well, Jamie Hall gets himself onto the front row. Hall has been on a spate of good races, especially since Richie has not been around as of late. We'll be right on board with Yuko Lascala, the Finn, coming across to see if he can get himself on the pole in the GTO class. Can he do it? The answer is no. Doesn't improve his time.
Yeah, I'm surprised Trengrade didn't go for more, to be honest with you. He's sitting in the pit. Well, he was. He's just come out, and he looks like he's going to try and get another one in, Joe. But Ove, with that 146 flat, still holds the top position. Carl Jansen, they were the 146.2. Yuko Lascala, who we just watched there a moment ago, 146.6. Everybody separated by about a 10th.
Ooh, I am happy to see Carl Jansen back. He gave us fireworks the number of times in both classes that he showed up in recent memory. So I'll be excited to see what he brings today. Here's Luis Emerton coming across for his second lap, sitting in 11th. Does he improve? Doesn't look like it. So 11th is the best we'll see from our AM Championship leader. Now, if we could go to Jamie Hall, he could take the pole here. Let's see.
He fell
Sitting
just
in
short.
second. Oh, no. He decides to pit. He doesn't take a second lap. Interesting.
Well, he just moved up to second, Joe. That lap of 136.3. Not sure why he didn't go for a second one there.
Yeah, interesting stuff. John Keefe out there on track has finished both of his laps, so none left there. All the Nissans are done, I believe. Let me double check. Ove Trangrade sits on the pole, and I think he's going to try for a second lap here to see if he can extend the gap. Oh, but he does not get a timed lap on the second one. So good thing he got that first one in. First try was all he needed. I believe that's going to be everyone. So qualifying has finished. Let's go through our grid. Ardo Iamaki on the pole. The Finn is going to be flanked by the UKNI driver of Jamie Hall. Rob Olenek begins in third. Next to Tapani Linoluoto, finished fourth just a couple hours ago. And the Lotus 49 series out over just across the way in Imola here in Italy. Antti Lepisto going to be behind them in fifth. Fabian Gerber starts in the sixth position. In row four, Nicholas Mukano starts seventh, followed by Clayton McLeod in eighth. Fabian Jungbluth starts in ninth, and rounding out our top 10 is John Keefe. Luis Emerton will be behind them in 11th, followed by Michael Kopak. Jeffrey Oakley starts in 13th, Dave Peterson 14th, and Jake Havila starts in 15th. The last of our Nissans is going to be Gilles Ruil, starting in 16th.
And here is your Audi GT field. Ove Trengrade on the pole. Carl Jensen there in second. Yuka La Scala, second row. Third place, Villarola, fourth. Here is row three, Michel de Jong and Philip Blake. And let's see. Then we've got Michael Houghton in seventh. Ben Lafter, eighth today. Franco Scurry will start ninth. Kevin Binkley is starting 10th. Marco Kika, 11th. 12th to Reed Miller. Hideki Koivitso, 13th. 14th for Steve Hogan. Tommy Alto will start 15th. Brian Shanahan, 16th. And 17th today, Sasha Monig.
There you see from the sky the large field that we have out there today. And despite there being a lot of long straightaways at Monza, we've seen from the past, it tends to be a little chaotic and multi-class. And heading up to that turn one, even though they're going to split the start, Sean, I'm a bit worried about what it's going to look like in a Rettifilio.
I'm absolutely stunned right now, and we haven't started. Joe, I sure hope they all get through there. I really do. I've been worried about this since I started watching practice this morning, and I worried about a big field, and it's a very big field today. We're just shy of a split with 33 cars here. This could be really, really messy if these guys don't try to take care of each other a little bit.
Indeed, and since it didn't split, you have a wide gap of iRatings as well, as high as 7,300 and as low as, I believe, do we have anyone under 1,500? Looks like that's about as low as it'll get. Still, that's quite a gap in levels of ability. Drivers will have to be on their toes, especially once they start to hit inter-class traffic. As we watch the roof pace car work its way down towards Parabolica. Nice little rail cam that we have here, wire cam that Dougie has set us up with, coming out of that Ascari chicane. Roof pace car will peel off, and then we'll go racing for 40 minutes here in round 6 of the iRacing Kamel GT series.
How about being the guy that just subscribed to iRacing this morning and you thought, yeah, I'm going to run this Kamel GT race, and you have no idea it's being broadcast or anything. That could be you. Again, there's still a couple of open spots. Somebody could have gotten in here no matter what their iRating had been.
Well, if they just joined today, I'd be amazed if they were a C-class driver already. So
That's true. That's true.
All right, we'll see how Iamaki does off the line. The green flag waves. He is going great, way ahead of Jamie Hall, already getting single file for our top three. Bit of a battle back there for fourth between Leno Luoto and his countryman Lepisto. Hall looking for the lead, very late on the brakes down into the first chicane. Can't stop it in time. He's going to have to cut the course. This is going to take a huge chunk out of him as he's going to have to give the time back. But is everyone safely through? I think so somehow. Let's go to the Audis.
Oh, man, they're just now going into the chicane here, Joe. 3 wide. Oh, Carl Jensen looked like he got into the back there of maybe Philip Lake, but man, what a breakdown in the red. Now we've already got somebody fading back there. Really slow car on track. Not sure which that might be. I think it's Yuko Lascala. Yeah, Lascala let all those cars get by. Drops 9 spots there early.
Battle for second there on screen. Houghton and Ruola somehow made it, Jansen and Lake, rather, somehow made it through the De La Roja chicane, and now they're starting to get strung out now that they've come out of the second Lesmo. I'm actually kind of amazed that our GTP drivers made it through there safely. Now, where did Hall wind up? He is down to 7th, and he is going once again, but he has got a mountain to climb after starting on the front row. His teammate has taken over that second spot, Rob Olenek giving chase to Iamaki now. Already Hall trying to see what he can do, working on the car of Antti Lepisto. He's on the outside, which is where he was coming into the turn the first time. This time brakes much better. Now Oleg slides across the track and gets hit by Mukanos, and there's a log jam.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Man, we worried about the first lap, but I didn't think about worrying about the second lap. Let's take a look at Olenek. There's the spin. That's Mukanos that gets into the back of him. Now, who is that gets Mukanos up in the air? Oh, excuse me, is that Gerber maybe? Maybe that's Mukanos who hit him. Severe damage, not what you want on a track where obviously the car needs to be as clean as possible through the air. Wow, they did a great job, honestly, of that not being worse than it could have been.
Yeah, it definitely minimized the damage on that one. To be a little cliche there, but that could have been much, much worse.
So what this has done has moved, Iamaki stays in first. Now Tupani Linoluoto moves up into second. Olenek gets slotted down to third, and because of that incident, Hall regains a bunch of spots and is back up to fourth.
Philip Blake just passes Carl Jensen for second. Quite a move down in Ascari. He picks him up about 2/3 the way down the straight there.
Unfortunately, they've got a prototype in the mix. He is not lapping them already. Oh, we got some more side-by-side action. He's going to try to force the issue up the inside as Carl Jansen splits the middle and gets Philip Lake back, despite the car of Jay Kavila coming back through.
Well, Ruola's gotten a great start. Obviously, he's picked up, right where he started, actually, I'm sorry. But good start here. He's been able to keep a little distance between him and that battle of Philip Lake. The traffic, obviously, Javier had some problems and had to come back through a few cars. Oh, taking the safety exit there. Who is that? That's
Ben Laughter.
Yeah, it was Ben Laughter.
Oof. And that blockbuster car returns to the track, but with a severe slowdown. And something happened to Hall again?
Yeah, he's going to spin it. He loses the grip. He lost traction, and boy, that's not good for Hall. He bent it up really good, Joe. Here it is.
Yeah, just out of the first Lesmo. A hard thunk into the inside wall. He actually takes a toe, sadly. So the good run of races for Jamie Hall comes to an end. But there's our leader, Ardo Iamaki, trying to capitalize, especially without Keith Ritchie here to have to fight over the lead for. Look at the gap he's already got over his fellow countrymen, almost 2 seconds. And speeding away. Look at that. Fastest lap of the race goes to Iamaki.
Tell you what, there's a pretty intense battle, fourth on back here in the Audis. The charge being led right now by Michel de Jong. He's going to be looking to be overtaken here. Here comes Trengray trying to get some back.
Trengray up the inside, braking way late down into Parabolica, but he gets it woed up in time. But you're right. Look at this train of cars. Some of the drivers were saying we might expect this, Sean, that the draft incredibly powerful in this Audi.
It is, Joe. Talked to a couple of drivers about that before the race, and they were excited to get out here in a group of cars and do a little drafting on the long front straightaway. And it's right here.
Kevin Binkley and Ben Lafter side by side through the chicane. You can get through here, but it's going to slow both of them up. You can see the time that they lost. Lafter comes out ahead of Binkley, though. Oh, and somehow Jansen has gotten ahead of Rolla.
We've got a replay of it, actually, Joe. Nobody has to miss it.
What happened here? Just a good draft and sent one in.
Yeah, Carl's just going to slingshot him right here down the straight.
Jansen put a stamp on it and sent it in the mail. Up to P1 for the Swede. And Rolla already has dropped off of him, interestingly.
Yeah, up over a second now. It didn't take long for Jansen to get away.
Now, Binkley was passed by Lafter, who got a slowdown penalty we saw earlier, but he's also got to worry about what's behind him. Franco Scurry now getting close up behind. Michael Houghton in there as well. Right on board with Houghton as he trails behind Scurry. Heading up to the Parabolica. Takes a little bit of a peek. I think he's a little too far back to make a serious attempt. Scurry getting very close to the back of Binkley, though.
Yeah.
Right in his gearbox. Onto the main straight. We should see the draft start to come into effect, and indeed, Michael Houghton closes in. Looks to the inside, down into Retafilio. Under braking, he's a little bit stronger, and now he's fully passed at the apex. Move Michael Houghton up into P8 in the GTO class.
That's how you get it done. Now he's got to worry about that happening to him next time around.
Exactly. If he can get a good run, he's already close behind Binkley. And his teammate is stretching away too. Lafter getting himself well clear of Kevin. While all this is happening, the traffic is starting to come together. Oh, and Houghton gets a slowdown. Oh, no.
That will hurt. Can't afford those when you're fighting for position, man.
Oh, and Rolla continues to drop. Philip Lake gets past him now. What has happened to Rolla? So this looks like a slowdown penalty to me. The way he pulls off there. Let's see, they're coming. That was around the Curva Grande, coming up to Della Roja here.
No, he had something going on there, Joe. That would have been an odd place to get a slowdown. Looks like this was.
Yeah, second apex, he was,
okay.
He was a little close over it.
Yeah.
He must have just barely triggered it. Well, that answers that. I was wondering why he has now dropped 2 spots. Thought maybe he had some damage, but doesn't look like the case. It's just sloppy driving, unfortunately, which is uncharacteristic for Vili.
Well, he's got to be careful here not to dig too hard and overdrive the car out, break himself possibly here into the chicane. And he's not going to do that. He's just got to find his rhythm back around here and avoid those cut courses, of course, which are, I guess we're seeing pretty easy to pick up in the chicane.
Certainly are. The battle continues here for second as Rolla tries to get it back. In a second, though, we might have to leave this now that our leader is rocking up to the back of our GTO class. There you can see them up the road. One of them gets an off track as Tommy Alto
Franco
is gonna have to slow
Scurry.
up.
Sorry, Joe. Franco Scurry getting around Ben Laughter. Laughter having a little bit of trouble. That was a battle for 6th.
So he's going to look for the over-under and just not enough room before the second Lesmo, but he runs him off anyways. Scares him off
Watch
course.
out. Here comes Houghton.
He's going to lose 3 places in one, just like that. Now, these guys are going to get to the Nissan class up to them soon. Maybe we could get a little bit of an onboard with Ardo Iamaki as he works his way through the back of the GTO field. There we see our leader approaching Hideki Koivisto, who's come over to the GTO class once again, a regular in the Lotus 49 series. We've seen him here before. I don't think we've seen him in a while, though. And you can see just how much time is lost there through the chicane for Lino Luoto. Already on top of him. Lino Luoto was about a 1.5 seconds back. It's now down to 0.3. Oh, and he knows it. He's trying to dodge out of the draft there. Iamaki feeling a little bit under threat. Here comes Lino Luoto with a huge head of steam down into turn 1. He's given the inside by his countryman. It's a game of chicken on the brakes. They're going to stay side by side through here. Iamaki not giving it up. And he manages to stay ahead somehow from around the outside. Looks like it's going to be another bite for Lino Luoto up into Della Roja. Once again, defensive by Iamaki. And they got traffic up ahead of him. Brian Shanahan now.
Joe.
Lino Luoto gets a great run off Della Roja. Sorry, Sean. Caught me off guard there.
I was just going to say this traffic is definitely going to be a factor. They have got a couple of a few really good fights ahead of them as they come through this Audi field.
Shanahan doing a good job just holding his line, letting them both by. Behind these two as they battle, this is allowing Rob Olenek to start to catch them. If I'm not mistaken, did Olenek get any of the damage, in the incident into turn 1 on lap 2? I'm trying to remember if he was involved in that at all.
I don't think he did.
Up next, Steve Hogan stays out of the way for these top 2. So far, traffic has been good here in the second half of this lap for these 2.
Yeah. It's not going to, trust me, they're going to come into some real battles here going on. And, man, I'll tell you what, the one for 5th is just so intense right now. Not just 5th, but 3rd up front, still battling. It's Phil Lake here in 2nd, but just behind him, Ruola and Trengrade and De Jong. Those 3 are just hooked up right now and all over each other. Had a couple of almost there just a moment ago when we weren't on this action.
You can see the podium still very much contested. And it looks like Kevin Binkley might be getting a spot a little bit farther down in the Audis, as Michael Houghton has to move out of the way, coming out of Della Roja. Move Binkley up into 8th in class.
Yeah, and that's kind of par for the course right now, Joe. These 4 right here, and I say these 4 because Scurry and Laughter up in front of him have been doing the same thing. It's been I'll take it for half a lap, you take it for half a lap type of race for these 4 cars right now.
Still side by side. Houghton is trying to come back at him. Oh,
contact.
Gets run out of road. Aggressive stuff from Kevin Binkley. Denied at Ascari. Now here's where it gets interesting. Let's hop on board Iamaki one more time because he has got all of these battles, Sean, to try and work his way through.
Yeah, I don't envy him right here. He is going to get him out of Parabolica, though, and that's probably not too bad.
He's going to get the first 2 easily, but one thing we've seen, Sean, is that these Audis have a huge top end. even
Yes,
for
they
being just
do.
GT cars.
Lot of grunt here.
You can see the battle up ahead of him side by side between Laughter and Scurry. Oh, and this is going to slow them up even more. Scurry has to take to off track, and he gets a slowdown. That'll hand it easily over to Ben Laughter and make the job that much nicer. Oh, and an incident going on back there. That is
Yep.
Linaloto.
Yeah, it's little Luoto, and it was poor Rob Olenek. He checked up, but just not enough. He's going to tip him.
Yeah, there was 2 cars side by side, more Audis fighting. That was Binkley and Houghton still going at it. Like you said, just you're blind almost when you get too far under that rear wing of the prototype ahead. We get a good view right here with Olenek. This is just about eye level. Yeah, just hard to see anything. You could maybe see a little bit of the one Audi, but couldn't see that the other one was there. Well, that means that Iamaki is first, Olenek is now second, and Lepisto gets promoted to third. Linda Luoto slots down to fourth. Closest battle in our prototypes at the moment is between Gerber and Emerton, and Gerber is going to lose out big time as Steve Hogan and Reed Miller block the track in their battle for position in the GTOs. Oh, and poor Reed Miller off track. Excuse me, no, Hogan off track. Boy, Reed lifted to try and stay out of him. So Hogan has a little bit of a hero in the fact that he's not too aggressive. So behind them, more battles as Clayton McLeod and Fabian Jungbluth go at it. Knew you would appreciate that one, Sean.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, this one has been fun today. So, we still have a full 23 minutes left. Teammates have finally found each other back here in the Audi class, though. Team Blockbuster, Laughter, and Houghton have once again pulled themselves in together here and now can get to work on trying to go and catch the top 5.
Attracted to each other like magnetic tape. And we got some information about something happening elsewhere there. Oh, Lake with an issue.
Yeah.
A cut course penalty. Straight over the sausage curbs. Might be an Audi Quattro, Philip, but that is not a rally car, unfortunately.
Hopefully that hasn't hurt the underside of the car, and he can still maintain speed here. I mean, he's still got a great shot at a podium here. This just because Ove's gotten out to a little bit of a break here, he's still very catchable. And only 2 seconds separate those cars.
And let's not forget, Janssen still leads this thing. Ever since he took the lead, he has not looked back. 6.5 seconds over Ove Trangarade at the moment. Trangarade's more worried about what's happening behind him as De Jong and Rolla try to catch a draft. They're going to let the car of Rob Olenek, second place in the prototype, slip on through. Oh, but this could hold up Trangarade. He has to go off the apex slightly through Rodafilio, but De Jong has no place to stick his nose in.
He was trying to, oh, and look who got the slowdown there. Rob Olenek gets a slowdown.
Oh, and that's going to give that position to the other prototype going by. That is Linda Luoto trying to come back through. When did he get up this far, actually? My goodness. He's now up to second.
Oh boy. That was close.
Big moment for Rob Olenek. Low speed corners, high curbs, and turbo lag. Something that you really do not want in these prototypes. But you have in spades at Monza.
Who was more scared there, him or Ove Trangarade?
I think everybody clenched a little bit on that one. Anthony Lepisto takes a look. Defensive move from Olenek into a scar. Maybe he overshoots the corner. No, somehow blows it up. Now, who's that off track?
That's Joe Ryu sitting on his lid.
We'll have to get back to that later because Olenek is once again side by side with Lepisto. This is for third place, the last podium spot. Lepisto tries to go the long way around. Can he find the grip off the racing line? Yes, he can. Beautiful job, but now he's giving a huge tow to Rob Olenek once again. New England driver looks to the outside. Defensive move from Lepisto. The Finn has no answer. Look at the speed that Olenek has. Gives him a little bit at the apex. Nicely done by those two. Olenek up to third. Lepisto down to fourth. Wow, wild stuff. And the Frenchman is still upside down, and it looks like he hasn't hit the brake.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe there's a hardware failure there, because when he went off, he just went straight through. Didn't even look like he attempted to brake. Maybe his sim is locked up on him or something, Joe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that looks like something frozen, unfortunately. If we could check in on the battle for second and the Audis, because Michel de Jong is doing everything he can to overtake Trangrade. He got a great run out of the second Lesmo. There's some more Audis starting to creep up on them, and then their own battle for position. Wow! Is that Keefe? Who was that? Keefe and Gerber going at it.
Still going at it, Joe. They try to make it 3 wide.
Oh, they squeezed through there just about wide enough for that. Now they're going to come up on de Jong. Is de Jong aware of what's going on behind him? Gerber with a bit of a run. Wow, Kiefer on the outside. My goodness. The utmost trust of John Keefe and Michel de Jong that he would stick to the inside and just brake as late as he dared.
Pardon me? Coming through.
I don't know if this is brave or just foolhardy. And it lucked out. Now, Olenek apparently got a pass. Let's check the replay here. Ooh, no, we had an incident. Oh, gets bumped off course. Tries to bring it back on, still gets a slowdown.
Clattering those high curbs there, too. Not good.
Wow, things have been chaotic. Oh, and John Keefe goes around. Oh, after that brilliant move, it all gets thrown away out of De La Roja.
Well,
Hoosier has it all to do it again. Go ahead, Sean.
De Jong still has a little work to do, but the traffic, they've worked with it. It has spread things out just a little bit. Ove opened up here just over a second over De Jong. Ruola, same deal for him. Let that traffic get involved in there and has now split them up. Philip Blake, though, is back to the party. That's the encouraged thing. He's been able to get back into this because of that traffic coming through.
Indeed, he's on the back of Billy Ruola looking for fourth. Ahead of them, De Jong getting way off track to try and get out of the way of these Nissans. It is going to allow him to close up to La Scala, though. Oh, La Scala is actually a lapped car, excuse me.
He is.
He's not in a fight for position. Not used to that.
Yeah, no, he had trouble early and then had to pit.
Look at that. Great sportsmanship by La Scala. Finn just going to lift, knowing this is a battle for top spots, just lets everybody through. While all this is going on, Lepisto's been in a bit of a fight, but now it's with a name we haven't said since the start, Nick Mukanos. He's got himself up into fourth, having started seventh on the grid.
It's good work there by Mukanos. With all the craziness that's been going on, it's good to see him move forward.
We only have 15 minutes left to go. We are well past halfway in this race. Time's starting to run out, so the drivers who are finding themselves having to recover from mistakes are going to have to work all the more harder. A little bit of damage that we can see on the side of that Nissan, unfortunately. Oh, and Lapiso just went off screen as I was watching and didn't realize that he had blown the corner. Let's watch that one more time, figure out what exactly happened to the fin. This looks like actually he made it into the corner and then the car got loose on him. Wow, great catch. Unbelievable catch from the fin.
Yeah. Wow. These guys never cease to amaze me, Joe.
Well, unfortunately, even though it was a good catch, didn't save him a spot as Mukanos gets himself onto the podium.
Okay, I think we got a move coming here for second. Ove Trengrade going to get around Michel Dijon, going to slipstream here. He's in it. Going to try and be the first one to the chicane. He's going to get ahead. Keeps it nice and tight. Able to hold on to that. That's a good move there by Ove Trengrade after following Dijon there for a couple of laps.
I don't think De Jong is going to be sitting down on that one. He is going to come back at him if I know anything about the Benelux driver. If they start battling anymore, though, you can't count out Vili Ruola. Remember, Ruola, I believe he started on the pole, did he not?
He did. That's right, Joe. The Bandit was on the pole.
So I wouldn't doubt that he's hungry to try and get past these two, at least to get himself up into second place. There you see Philip Lake back there hanging around, and Dave Peterson and the Nissan just kind of waiting patiently. He has nobody to race against at the moment, so he doesn't want to get too involved in what's happening up ahead of him.
I made a mistake. Billy Rolla qualified right where he's at, fourth.
My
bad.
Well, I was the one that put the thought in your head, so.
Yes, but I looked at the wrong column. Man, just when I think Philip Blake is going to get back into this thing, he loses a little more ground. Now, I don't know if that what happened there, but Dave Peterson got to run right up on him and then had to jump on the binders. He almost ran poor Phil Lake over there.
Oh, and this is, I think, a change for position. Kopak coming through. They're going to split him. There's enough room right here. That track is plenty wide. It's going to be a drag race up to the first chicane. Right now, just a little bit ahead is Dave Peterson, but under brakes. Look at Kopak come back at him. Will they get balked by the Audi traffic, though? Kopak is through, and he gets it done. Moves himself into 11th.
Laughter, Houghton, Scurry. Going to try and make it 3 wide here. And Renafilio, and everybody's going to get away with that one clean. They're still side by side.
Teammates still door to door. Laughter on the outside, Houghton on the inside, and he's going to be clear of him coming through the parabolic or the Curva Grande. Ducks to the inside, knowing he's got to cover off his teammate down into Della Roja. Are they going to go side by side through a chicane again? Yes, they are, and successfully. But look at Houghton go. And that disadvantages Ben Laughter up the outside of him. Here comes Franco Scurry around the first Lesmo. Tries to make it stick. They bang doors. Both manage to survive. Up to the second Lesmo. Chops him off at the nose. Franco Scurry up to 7th.
Tell you what, Scurry's been driving his tail off today, man. These 4 have put on a really, really good show back here. We do have to jump around and show other classes and the other battles, but we could have stayed on this battle for these 4 cars all day. Laughter going to fight back and take it back from Scurry.
Wow, decisive move from Ben Laughter to go back through, and he is hanging it all out as he clips the dirt on the exit of Ascari, but keeps himself safe from Scurry for now. Down to 10 minutes left to go. I think these guys are hustling. But I have to agree, this is one of the better drives we've seen from Scurry in a while.
Yeah, he's been aggressive, and you know, generally aggressive in a good way, not a reckless way. We don't generally see Franco be very aggressive. Oh, a little tap there from Binkley.
Binkley knew that he was in trouble. You could see he was trying so hard to stay out of him and then locked him up big time. Watch this from above.
Yeah, he jammed on him, and I'm sure he had his teeth just clenched right there going, oh, please don't hit him, don't hit him. just a small tap, and Franco able to handle that just as he's trying to make his turn in there.
Well, what that has done is allowed the cars of Laughter and Houghton to start to stretch away from this pack.
Yeah, I just, that's great, but I don't think they're going to catch Phil Lake, man. Phil, he's having his own little battle out there right now. Unfortunately, it's with himself. Up a spot from where he qualified, but he's got Rolla and De Jong, who's so far ahead of him right now. I just don't know how much more is left for him here over the next 9.5 minutes. I think he's just got to keep the car on track.
Oh, John Keefe has a problem coming out of Red Affilio. He was looking to try and hold off Clayton McLeod. You can see they started side by side. Keefe was looking to continue the battle, but got a little too greedy on the power. Well, that's going to send him down to 10th today.
Binkley trying to pass Scurry out of a parabolica here.
And we had another pass up for P2 as Michel de Jong got by Ove Trangrade into the first chicane. Actually had to slide it through the first apex. And just behind them, Villy Rolla has now caught up to the back. Not able to do anything with Trangrade down into Della Roja. Boy, Trangrade took a lot of that first curve.
Yes, he did.
Oh, and too much. Yep. I wondered about that.
You wondered correctly. Boy, that might give a little opportunity for Philip Lake, but no, maybe not.
They both get slowdowns.
They both slowed down quite a bit. He slowed down quite a bit too, didn't he?
And he's still giving it back. Look at that. In their eagerness to try and stay with Michel de Jong, both of his competitors shoot themselves in the foot.
Well, you know what? They have thrown up a little opportunity to Phil Blake here. He's going to get one last chance to get here on the podium. Those slowdowns really helped his effort. Only a second and a half behind.
Teammates are going at it again. Houghton and Laughter. As we take a glance at Carl Jansen, and they sorted out yet again out of Ascari. This has been going on almost all race long. Laughter now gaining on Houghton, looks to the outside, coming up to Parabolica. All this back and forth continues to lose them time on the cars ahead. Oh, getting so close to one another out of the corner and across the line. Down to 7 minutes left to go. Oh, and Iamaki is slow. Iamaki is slow, and he's being overtaken right now. Linda Luoto takes the lead.
He had trouble. Marco Kika, him and Kika got into it.
Looks like he was in Ascari. So just within this past lap. And you know what? I don't think this was Kika's fault at all. Look, watch Iamaki here coming up to the Ascari chicane. Now he's nice and tidy through here. And Kika sees him, lets him through, but he takes too much curb and just spins it in front of the Audi. Oh, look at Lascala tries to avoid twice. Or was that Lascala trying to get out of the way?
Yes, that was Lascala.
He did a good job because he made the right decision the first time, and then suddenly the car is in front of him again. Had to take more avoiding action. Let's watch on board the fin. Got a front row view. As we're watching this, just to update you, Linda Luoto leads, Iamaki second, and Mucanos gaining on Iamaki fast. Great handiwork by Lascala. Well, the severely damaged car of Iamaki now has to try and limp home. But Tapani Linuluoto finds himself inheriting first place after starting this race in fourth and being all up and down the order. Ahead of him continues the battle for sixth in the GTOs. There you see those blockbuster cars They've been side by side more than they've been single file this race.
Yeah. Yeah, Joe, they're having a little bit of fun. Oh!
A little bit of contact. Now they get single file.
They have to kind of shut the door on him there a little bit.
Going to do it again. Is Lino Lualto going to have to send one in the slot through the blockbuster cars? Oh, I think he just might. Oh, no! And he gets balked. Be patient. You've got a slow Iamaki behind you. Wow, incredible stuff between these teammates. Neither one willing to give, and this has allowed Iamaki to gain on him and get back in the fight. Still he's boxed in, nowhere to go.
This is a problem. I mean, you know, it's...
Iamaki thought about 3 wide, but then thought better of it. Finally, he's through. And the boys keep fighting. My goodness, I've never seen 2 cars do this much side-by-side racing in a single race, unless it was a super speedway, Sean.
Yeah, I think they're taking advantage of the opportunity that they're together on the track to have a little bit of fun, but at some point they may slow somebody down back here and they may not be happy with it. So we'll see.
Not. This is Jeffrey Oakley, who is at the tail of the prototype, so really doesn't need to get involved in this. Please don't send it 4 wide, guys. Oh my God, here they go. And they do it successfully. Mukanos was the other prototype that made it through. Wow.
Almost looked like a game of Frogger there for a moment.
Jeez, this is ridiculous. They're still going. They still have not settled it out.
Yeah, well, you know, here's the thing. Binkley's caught them now. Because of all the side-by-side and the traffic coming through, Binkley's been able to get into this. So things not over for Binkley at all. Poor Scurry has fallen off, but he's getting closer now. In fact, he meets him here in the chicane.
Oh, they come together. He lifts a little bit to let Houghton catch it.
And Scurry takes advantage of that. Look at that. He gets around Binkley.
I wondered at some point if this would go wrong. Those two obviously know how to handle each other, but you enter more cars in the mix and it gets all the more complicated. And poor Binkley gets held up at the apex of the second Lesmo and loses a whole chunk of time down the stretch. Not missing anything up at the top of the GTOs, by the way. It's still Janssen leading by 9 seconds, so don't even have to look up there at this point. This is the excitement right here.
It has been for most of the race, too. Hats off to all 4 of these drivers. Olenek coming through now. So is Fabian Gerber here.
Yeah, remember, Olenek kind of dropped off the map a bit ago. Oh, and Iamaki is falling down.
Oh, Gerber's off. Gerber is off.
And in the barriers, big time.
In his quest to make it through with Olenek, he shot it in there too hot. Taps the brake and it just spins off on him.
Watch it from on board. Oh, yeah. Car just would not grip. Now, on the other side, there you might be able to see a little bit of it. Iamaki had spun it, putting under power.
Sorry, Joe. Spinners. Binkley spins, and so does Michael Houghton.
We'll see it right here. This is where it finally falls apart. And just like I said, Sean, you put more cars into the mix. Whoa! Big slide. Was that Scurry or Binkley that we saw there?
It was Binkley that makes the slide.
Just to add insult to injury, is once he gets going, there's Houghton parked at the apex. Woo, using that 4-wheel drive for a little drift. Boink. Well, we need to go back to the lead because it is the final lap now. Depani Linoluoto, how about this? From 4th to 1st, not to mention the car behind him, Mukanos, going from 7th to 2nd. Well, and I don't think this is actually final lap. One lap through. Yes, here we go. Okay, so we got the white flag a little bit early. So now is the final lap for Tapani Linuluoto. He was ruining his mistake just across the way in Imola, knowing that cost him a better finish. Wound up getting a fourth over there in the Lotus 49, much older cars. But the black stripe driver now finds himself looking at a win today. Helped a little bit out by circumstance, but certainly capitalized when it was tossed his way. Coming up towards the Lesmos now, one last time. In fact, I don't think he has a little bit of traffic in the form of our other leader, Carl Jansen. Could we get a double up here? A very quick finish. There's our GTO leader. And I think he will be overtaken before this is said and done, unless...
Yeah, here he comes. I mean, it's Joe.
Tapani could slow and let him through, but... I mean, I don't know why he would want to.
No, he's going to get him here down in the Parabolica, definitely.
There you see our leader from the back of Carl Jansen. Of course, Carl could also slow and let him through. Oh, no, Linda Lualto's going to slow. Linda Lualto is going to let our Audi leader take a victory lap. Tapani recovers from a bad race earlier on, or is he? He's going to go past him anyways. And he takes the win along with Carl Jansen here at Monza.
Believe Jansen is going to have to finish this lap here, Joe.
No, he was behind the leader. That should be it. He was behind at the line. Yeah. He is done. So how about Nicholas Mukanos, though? Like I said, 7th to 2nd. Lepisto rounds out the podium of the GTPs. Michel de Jong takes 2nd. And the GTOs and Vili Rola completes the podium down there.
Binkley trying to hold off Kika. He's going to get it done. Binkley with a 7th place finish today.
How about disappointment for Michael Houghton, though?
Yeah.
Comes home at 9th in class.
Yeah, that wasn't the plan.
So with that, we are going to take a quick break here on the Global Sim Racing channel. We'll come back with the official results, as well as driver interviews for Gilles, still left out there, engine still running. He should stick around as well, because on screen, he might be able to see all the upcoming races here on GSRC. Welcome back to Monza. We just watched round 6 of the iRacing Kamel GT series, and as expected, it delivered on action, especially in the prototypes, because up at the top, it swapped around I don't know how many times for the front. Lineluoto winds up taking the win over Nicolas Mucanos, who made a steady drive to get himself into second. Antti Lepisto, another one of those drivers that was up and down the order, gets himself into third. Rob Olenek takes fourth behind them. Fabian Gerber, with some action out on track, somehow gets a top 5. Ardo Yamaki, ruining his mistake late in the race, cost him a win. He winds up in 6th. Louis Simmerton, AM Championship leader, Prototype Lights, well, he gets a 7th place finish. That is certainly going to help him in his points championship. Fabian Jungbluth behind him in 8th, with Clayton McLeod finishing 9th. John Keefe, with a few big moments for him, gets a top 10. Michael Kopak finishes 11th. Dave Peterson 12th. And Jeffrey Oakley 13th.
All right, and now we're going to go to the GTO field. The Audis here had a great race. Carl Jensen ran away with it. Finishes first. Michel de Jong, a great effort by him today. Good fight with Villarreal there for quite a while. Second and third for them. Ove Trendegrade, he'll finish 4th. Philip in and around the lake, 5th today. 6th, Franco Scurri. Kevin Binkley, man, he was up in the thick of that and winds up on the short end. 7th for him. Marco Kika 8th. Michael Houghton, who was up there battling also, and just a tough battle, and he's also gonna find the short end of that in 9th. Hideki Koivitso 10th, 11th. Gonna go to Steve Hogan, 12th for Reed Miller. Ben Laughter going to wind up 3rd. Hard to believe that after the great effort today. Tommy Alto will finish 14th. Yuko La Scala in 15th. Brian Shanahan 16th. And you've got Jake Avila. He finished 14th in the Nissans. Jill Ryu finishes 15th and spent a lot of that on his lid there. Sasha Moning will be the last Audi there in 17th. And Jamie Hall, tough start, tough end, everything tough about Jamie's race today. He finishes last in 16th.
Well, we got to talk to him not long ago. We'll get to talk to him again, and that's our winner this time in the prototypes, Tapani Lineluoto. I bet this one feels a little bit better than a couple hours ago, Tapani. Oh, looks like we've got to get his... There we got him.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I didn't expect to win after I spun after Rob bumped me, but yeah, not too bad, I think.
Now, this track always seems to maybe catch a few people out who've never done multi-class here. I think with the long straights, they tend to expect it to be a little bit easier. Our experience has shown that it tends to throw up a little chaos. What about you? Did you kind of figure it was going to be a little tricky trying to work through traffic?
Well, I didn't have much problems. There was this great Audi battle, which slowed me down to like 6 seconds near the end, but other than that, no problems at all.
Yeah, we saw you catch that between the two blockbuster cars. Those teammates were next to each other for pretty much the entire race, we can tell you. Did that worry you? That you might catch one of them and take all three of you out, or did you feel pretty safe by them?
No, well, I think I had just a place to watch that battle and try to find how to go through.
Eventually, you found it, of course. Now, this obviously is going to help you in the championship for the prototypes. Do you think at all about that during the season, or do you mostly just take it race to race and let the chips fall where they may?
I'm just racing one race at a time. I haven't followed the championship this season at all. So, well, it's fun. One race at a time.
It certainly looked fun for you today. Congratulations on the win. Hope to see you next week.
Cheers.
That was our winner, Tapani Lineluoto, in the prototypes today. Our winner in the GTOs has come to join us as well. Carl Jansen is talking to Sean.
Well, Carl, maybe we should start off every event with you talking to me in the lobby, and maybe it'll continue to bring you this luck. What a run. you really kind of ran away from those guys. What was the secret today, Carl? Oh, Carl, unmute your mic, buddy.
Sorry.
There we go.
Well, basically, my start was very bad, so I dropped down into 8th from 2nd, got a misshift, basically dropped down, and then just had to work my way up. Got lucky because we got a slowdown in the first chicane. Basically, just tried to run away as much as I could before he could catch me, I guess.
Well, you did a good job of getting that done. Once you got away, and continued to just sail on to this great victory. Yeah, I know you haven't been real consistent in making these races week in and week out, but talk to us a little bit about what it's like navigating that the traffic when the Nissans are coming through. Are you able to pick those up easy in your mirrors, or do you rely more on your relative there?
No, they are pretty around this track. They are pretty easy because they still run low downforce, so they aren't very, very quick in the corners. And then on the straights, obviously they're flowing past. So, really, the only thing you really need to keep an eye at is on the exits if you're close to them, because we have four-wheel drive, so you just can power on while they have the turbo lag. So they kind of have to watch that while they're driving away out of the corners. So that's really the only thing I think you need to look out for.
Good point. Good point. Yeah. Well, listen, Carl. Any plans on coming back and racing with us next week?
Uh, Maybe not a too big fan of Oran Park, but I think for Silverstone I may be here.
Okay. Yeah, we had talked about that. Oran Park, one of those tracks, it's not used a whole lot, and you're not the biggest fan, but who knows? Maybe the challenge will suck you in, and you'll be here. But congratulations again. Anybody you'd like to thank real quick?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Radicals Online and all our sponsors, as the SimRace, Cranfield Simulation, Joel Rail Timing, Arma Centrum, and as the SimRace.
All right. Well, congratulations, Carl. And boy, I'll tell you what, a big run for him today, Joe. And let's see, we're going to catch up with Nick Bucanos next, I think, is who we're going to talk to here and talk to him about his race.
Absolutely. Second place driver today. And well, that car was a shovel in more way than one, Nick, both literally and figuratively, as you dug yourself out of a hole and got a podium.
Yeah, I don't know how I didn't get damaged from that, but I guess I didn't. I'll take it. I thought my race was over since this is a pretty high speed track, but just trying to keep it on the road today. I've been having some issues lately, and I just was trying to be consistent, and I guess it worked out.
Yeah, we saw a number of drivers kind of shuffle up and down the order throughout the day. It seemed like you were kind of one of those guys. What were you thinking when you suddenly found yourself up into second?
I don't know. I just was trying not to look at it. I think I started 7th, and I was just trying to ignore all the stuff that was going on. I don't think I actually passed anyone.
Just gained it all through, I guess, drivers falling by the wayside. And I have to imagine, would you consider this one of the tougher tracks to drive in the Nissan, since the turbo lag is one of the more notorious features on it?
For me, it's kind of difficult. We all pretty much run really low downforce, so you just got to be mindful of that right foot.
Well, you were very mindful today. You kept it on the track, and you finished with a podium. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
That was Nick Mukanos, second place finisher. Now, we don't have a podium for our next two that are going to be coming in at the same time, but this is definitely a conversation we want to hear. Ben Laughter and Michael Houghton talking to Sean.
Hey.
Hey, guys. All right. So real quickly, were you two having fun, or were you really racing, or both?
I was boxing gloves, punching everywhere I could.
I was taking it easy on him. You know, he's slow and simple, and I didn't want to hurt his feelings.
Well, yeah, if I have damage.
No, that was Mike and I have been wanting to battle for a long time, but he's always so much damn faster than me. And so we finally got an opportunity, and that was a lot of fun, even though we were both a bit damaged and struggling for mid-pack.
Well, that's the best fight to the blockbuster drop box I've ever seen, guys. Congratulations.
We got our tapes back on time.
No, it was a fun race. It was a shame to see that there at the end. What happened from your view there first, Mike?
Well, going into turn one, I saw that Franco and Kevin were trying to make the outside of turn one. I saw Kevin lose it, and I saw Franco Scurry miss his braking point and go on off track, all four wheels off track. And he tried making the apex again, which is something that you shouldn't do. You should have just gone straight ahead and taken the yield, and then he came back and took me out. So that's pretty much what happened.
Ben?
That was about the moment that I realized I was out of gas. And then when I saw us starting to get looking like we were going 3 or 4 wide, I just backed off early, started to try to save fuel. And when things went sideways, I just tried to survive. Fault or no fault, I want to congratulate Franco. He ran a pretty damn solid race today. And he's normally pretty far back in my rearview mirror. And lately he's been a contender. So congratulations to him for picking up his pace.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up because Ben, I think he kind of getting tired of being pushed around by everybody. And I was saying during the race, he looked aggressive today, and not in a bad way, aggressive in a great way, and seemed to be making all the right moves there. And well, for his effort, he got himself here in the top 10, a 6th place finish. But you two gave us a great battle to watch and a lot of fun. Congratulations, boys. We'll see you next week.
Yes, sir.
Thanks,
See you
sir.
next week.
All right, Joe. There you go. That's the story as we see it here.
Always fun with those two. I love the way they go back and forth. So with that, we're going to close up today. And a huge thank you to the Kamel GT community for bringing us back so that we can see battles like that all the way through the race. And we look forward to all the seasons that we might get to broadcast with the Kamel GT series. Thanks to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast. They're listed here on your screen. Additional thanks go to Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde, who provide our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of their great work. Thanks to the team today, Sean Amjed and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. You can also check out our social media on Twitter at GSR Channel, on Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. Now, don't forget to head on over to our YouTube page and hit that big red subscribe button as well so that you don't miss a moment here on GSRC. As was mentioned, we're going down under for one of the lesser used tracks next race, Oran Park. God rest its soul, no longer with us. That'll be Saturday, April 28th at 1 p.m. Eastern. We also have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. However, until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.